one single injection unlocks your DNA and will release another version of yourself. This is the substance.
I'm Sue.
You're hired.
Let's go.
A perfect balance of 7 days each. The one and only thing not to forget. You are one. You can't escape from yourself.
There's been a slight misuse of the
Aloha!
substance.
It's Trinidad the Islandman, your Islandman, coming to you live once again from beautiful Hawaii here on the island of Oahu, bringing you, yes you, the best movie reviews on the entire island of Oahu. And yes, this is Trinidad the Islandman, your Islandman. And tonight, Wednesday night, what is it, the 19th, I went in and I saw the new Demi Moore movie called The Substance. And well, remember our rating scale? Shock a thumbs up. It's good to see, I recommend it. Shock a thumbs down, it's junk. I don't recommend it. And well, for The Substance, starring Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, and Dennis Quaid, it is overall a shock a thumbs up. Now, you've seen the trailer, and right there, that is pretty much the gist of it. Demi Moore is an aging star, an aging icon, playing a character called Elizabeth Sparkle, who basically very much in true-to-life fashion has kind of followed her own, real-life struggle with aging and getting older, from being a beautiful star and being very famous to now pretty much being out of work and kind of forced out of the business because she is simply too old, as said as much by her manager, played by Dennis Quaid. So in a fit of desperation, she discovers a treatment that offers to increase her longevity in the entertainment business, and that would be The Substance. And the trailers don't really leave too much more to explain other than that. This substance has the ability to, like it says, make a better version of yourself, a better version of you, a younger, more beautiful, more attractive you. Not so much what you used to look like, but think of it as a completely different person. Now, many, many other movies have done this, all the way back to Jerry Lee Lewis in Cinderfellow, followed by Eddie Murphy doing his version of that. Buddy Love was but an example of this. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, in fact, could be a type of scenario based on this. Hyde, in many regards, was a much different and better version of what Dr. Jekyll himself wanted to be. Now, that being said, you throw in some type of strange chemical that people take to change themselves, and you get everything from the 80s movie The Stuff, to being You know, what we had just seen on Netflix maybe a couple years back, that Guillermo del Toro, one of the episodes where this beauty product basically makes a more younger, youthful version of yourself. It makes you a killer pretty much, but you know, all the way to things like Videodrome. And this movie, the end of it, definitely turns into a Videodrome kind of scenario. It goes way over the top in the third act, the third and final act, especially the last 20 minutes. But up until then, it's, you know, it's a startling, somewhat realistic take, you know, a science fiction, dark look at, you know, the Hollywood industry, the beauty industry, you know, and the portrayal of women, you know, always pushing to be young and beautiful, often discarding older actresses and models once they reach a certain age, being no longer able to sell the products to certain youthful demographics that companies and even the entertainment industry strive to continue to reach. There's not much more to say about this movie and the moral implications other than that. That is what hits the nail right on the head, and that's what this movie is all about. And I have to say that you know, essentially, since it is kind of a true-to-life thing that has happened to Demi Moore and that she's had to face, this is definitely probably the right role for her, and she was brave to take this role. Now, to go into a little bit more spoilers, what essentially takes place, this substance, this drug, basically creates a younger version of you. But it doesn't make you younger. You actually birth another individual outside your back. Comes right out your back, honestly. Splits you open, and you give birth to an alternate version of yourself, with the same memories, the same desires, but a more youthful, more beautiful version of you. But it can only exist for 7 days, and then you have to switch back, and, you know, basically your older version of you, the real you, is left in a coma for 7 days. Well, this younger version basically takes over your life and lives as its own entity, independent of yourself, but yet still dependent on you, as it has to have a daily injection of, I believe, your spinal fluid in order to survive for those 7 days outside of your body. At which point the switch occurs so that your spinal fluid can regenerate, and thus you know, the younger version of you is then in that 7-day coma. You have 7 days to recuperate until the cycle begins again. That's essentially it. But as would happen, the drawback is your younger version of yourself, you enjoy being the younger version of yourself and don't want to go back, even if it is only for 7 days, to being the older, you know, more diminished version of you. And thus, in order to steal more days, you still pass the 7 days of the spinal fluid, which basically increases or, you know, the degeneration of your older self. So rapid aging, you know, I mean, yes, maybe you're in your 50s, 60s, but boom, this makes you like 80s. For every one extra day, the youthful version of you past those 7 days still, it's like 10 years added to your real body. And without your real body, without that spinal fluid from your older version of you, you know, the younger version can't survive. So basically, you know, it's very short-sighted. But, you know, you're going to want what you're going to want. And it basically plays into that whole idea of addiction and, you know, both psychological and physical addiction. Addicted to the lifestyle that your younger self is living, and you know, you don't want to give it up, even though in the end it kills both of you. So there you have it. This is a very powerful message that this movie promotes. And I only regret that it couldn't take the last the last third of this movie, the third act, a little bit more seriously. It is powerful, it is jarring, it is stirring, very much a Videodrome kind of scenario in the last, you know, third act of this film, especially the last 20 minutes, where essentially having killed the older version of yourself, your body begins drastically degenerating before death, and then in a desperate attempt to prolong this, you take more of the substance to try to create another copy from the copy of yourself. However, you end up with this monstrous Videodrome kind of creature, which does no one any good, let alone yourself. And in the end, your life is over. So there you have it. Overall, a shock, a thumbs up for The Substance. The message itself, what this movie, the implications of what it deals with, is very, very timely, still relevant in both the beauty industry, the entertainment industry, and, you know, probably in real life as well. I mean, everyone in a way fears getting older, getting weaker, you know, not being the person that you once were, you know, athletes even, you know, your best days behind you, wishing for more, you know, eternal youth, more life. That's why those vampire movies are always so popular, because that's the trade-off. You know, you drink people's blood and kill people to stay alive and youthful forever. It's a tempting proposition, but when it's your own blood that you have to drink to survive, and you abuse it, you know, terrible implications take place. All right. I think Demi Moore deserves an award for this, but because of the radical third act, I doubt it will get any Oscar consideration, although she might get some accolades and smaller awards, you know, down the line. We'll just have to wait and see. All right. So again, shock, a thumbs up overall for The Substance. It's a bizarre movie, but if you like that kind of thing, you'll definitely enjoy it. And, you know, again, it's got a relevant and powerful message about youth and life itself. All right. Mahalo and aloha.